sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sing. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash that subscribe button, turn on the notification so you get notified each time I upload. And please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you all so much, and I am saying massive shout out to every one of you for all the love and support you all give me here. I am truly grateful. Thank you. So today we'll be talking something very important, and it's about Asian communities not having this. You all know how they are banning everything black. Ban it. CRT, no black history, equity, and that ban everything. Remove all any books that got to do with black people from the library, because everything about them is violence. It's is against the law, And I am going to ask, how do you want to erase someone's history? I mean, you just want to wipe away someone's foundation, but history is something you cannot remove no matter how hard you try. It's impossible. So the truth is that the minorities are waking up, and they know that they are up to white supremacist tactics, and the Asian communities are not having it. They are like, you want to ban everything black, but you want to leave AAPI. You know that black people are the reason why we got our freedom, and you want to ban everything about them, and you want to leave AAPI. What are you going to teach? I hope you are going to still teach the relationship between Asian and how Malcolm X and all that fought for black community, how they were a spokesperson. They were really not having it. And Asians were like, they just want to use Asian Americans as a typical wedge group to create this triangulated form. And they are trying so hard, so hard to keep the power they have been holding for a very longer time, because this is what they are trying, because they feel like if we can go against black community and get into Asian community and let them fight black community. But as you all can see, they are all there. Nobody is sleeping. Everybody is wide. Their eyes are wide open right now because they know what they are up to and all that. And they are like, you can't use Asians to continue your anti-black oppression. We are not having it. So go to the screen, or I'm going to roll this clip. We'll come back to talk about it. And I absolutely want to read all your comments. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. And I am rolling the clip.
This is not a good thing, y'all. What this actually is part of a strategy to propagate white, cis, het dominant culture. And I'm going to need my fellow Asians to witness what this is for what it actually is. It is leveraging the model minority myth, one of white dominant culture's favorite weapons. So much so that they created it specifically to drive a wedge between black and Asian communities. Why do you think the very man who is suppressing the teaching of black history and the rights of queer and trans folks is suddenly promoting the teaching of Asian American history? Think about it for a minute, and also think about what kind of Asian history is actually going to be covered. We know it's not going to cover the friendship and movement work of Malcolm X and Yuri Kochiyama. We know they're not going to talk about Grace Lee Boggs, the Third World Liberation Front, or many of the other ways that black and Asian communities have come up in solidarity in resistance against white dominant culture. And they're definitely not going to talk about all of the global Asian movements that rose up against authoritarianism and white dominant culture colonialism. I mean, you can imagine how they're going to cover Vietnam, the Korean War. They're certainly not going to talk about the U.S.'s historic role in the oppression of Hawaii or the U.S.'s history in Laos. What the history will probably cover is anti-Chinese sentiment, forced ally governments, white savior narratives, and the suppression of the immense history of Asian, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander resistance. All of this is simply to further fragment people of the global majority, because by doing so, he and others like him that are doing so now in many different states are able to further white dominant cishet culture. So my fellow Asians, do not align yourself with white dominant culture, because it will be our downfall. And do not allow our community to be used as a wedge again, but instead let's remember and learn from our true histories of resistance against white dominant culture and colonialism. So he's going to allow the teaching of Asian American history? Well, my fellow Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacifica folks, let's show them our history by making history.
Y'all, Florida just passed AAPI history education. And if you're like, wait, did I read that headline correctly? Florida, as in Governor DeSantis, signed this into bill. Yeah, exactly. This is why we gotta use our critical thinking. Yeah, the same state that has the Don't Say Gay bill, that banned African American history, that banned critical race theory. Yeah, something's not adding up. But if you go one level deeper, it actually really adds up because white supremacy tactics, they're not creative. An important force in Asian American racialization is the invention of the model minority myth, which was very much based on perpetuating anti-Black oppression. And then on top of that, the theory of Asian American racial triangulation teaches us that Asian Americans are typically used as a racial wedge group to create this triangulated form, this triangle shape, in order to keep the racialized structure stable so that the power can continue to stay in the hands of the people who have traditionally held power. So passing mandatory AAPI history education is compatible with banning Black American history if you think you can use Asians to continue anti-Black oppression. And I will not at all be shocked when Florida Congresspeople and the governor hide behind the passage of this bill as proof to say that they are not racist. So community, let's stay vigilant and critical of these tactics.
I guess I'm getting a lesson in be careful what you wish for, because last week Ron DeSantis signed a bill to mandate the teaching of AAPI history to K through 12 students in the state of Florida. And I hope that Asian Americans who are seeing this can recognize that we are yet again being weaponized against Black people. This is divide and conquer. It will push the model minority myth. And I don't even want to imagine what a Florida developed AAPI history curriculum looks like, because you know it's not going to be the truth.
Y'all, Florida just passed AAPI history education.
Aside from the fact that this is going to drive an even deeper wedge between the Black and Asian community in Florida, can we also talk about the fact that it says AAPI history, but we all know damn well that they are not going to teach any Pacific Islander history in these courses, therefore driving a deeper wedge between the Asian and Pacific Islander community, because Pacific Islanders hate being lumped up with Asians, and Asians pretty much just ignore us during AAPI month or anything that pertains to AAPI. If Pacific Islander history is taught in these courses at Florida public schools, it's probably going to be about how Hawaii became a state, and it's going to completely ignore the fact that we were illegally overthrown. This is very clearly a strategy to divide people of color.
Hey, Ron DeShitstain. Yeah, you. This you? Signs bill requiring AAPI history in Florida schools. Huh. Really, Ron? Seems like you also banned Chinese citizens from buying land in Florida. But that's not what I'm fucking pissed about. I know what you're doing. I know what you are doing. Everybody fucking knows. You are spreading the fucking division. That's what you're doing. Look familiar? You ban African American studies. Oh, but you want to promote AAPI? As if there is not enough fucking tension between the Asian and the Black communities. But fuel the fire. Keep going, because that's what you're so fucking good at. I don't know how many times I have to fucking say this, but Asian community, listen up. This is what they are doing. They are trying to divide us even more, because they know, they fucking know. They know they're in trouble if we stand together as one. Together. They know they have no shot in hell of beating our party if we band together. But this is what they're good at. They're good at pitting marginalized groups against each other. That's what they want. That's why the whole anti-Asian hate bill was introduced, when it was an actual fucking hate crime bill for everyone that is marginalized. I am so sick and fucking tired of this bullshit that white people on that side, and again, before you come at me in the comments, white people, this is to them that are trying to cause division. Not you, them. I don't know how many times I have to say that I stand with the Black community. And if you are part of the Asian community, you need to listen up and pay fucking attention. Because the more that they feed this bullshit into your heads, the more you're going to buy into it, and thus reigns white supremacy. It's time to wake up and vote these assholes out. Oh, and Black Lives Matter. Always.
Florida just passed AAPI history education.
If you don't go and listen to this video right this very second, one of the best ones I've seen exploring the way Asian populations are set up as a racial wedge to uphold the structure of white supremacy and to give white people a reason to say they're not racist. Meanwhile, they are, of course, racist against all non-white people, including Asian people in Florida, who are now banned from owning property, etc. And I really need you to understand that white people aren't creative. And this creator points that out, because if it isn't broke, why fix it? This kind of wedging, right, of a model minority, quote unquote, which is a dangerous myth, right, against a more supposedly dangerous group to white people has been done for centuries.
So Ron DeSantis recently signed a bill requiring AAPI history to be taught in Florida schools. And this is obviously after he banned the teaching of AP African American Studies earlier this year. Now, I just want to shout out this creator who basically made a video saying that whatever version of AAPI history that Ron DeSantis in Florida would approve would likely uphold racist ideology by way of the model minority myth. For anyone who doesn't know, the model minority myth is a set of beliefs that include the idea that Black Americans should lift themselves up by being more like East Asian and other immigrant groups that found economic success despite racism. It's this idea of, if they can do it, why can't you? And when these beliefs guide people's policy decision, it results in them being against provisions like affirmative action, reparations, and generally any policy that would address anti-Black racial disparities. The important thing to realize, especially in this context, is that the model minority myth is almost entirely based on people's warped understanding of American history, specifically Black and Asian American history. For example, when the myth was first being created in the 1950s, the US News and World Report quoted a social worker saying, "It must be recognized that the Chinese and other Asian people were faced with even more prejudice than faces the Negro today. We haven't stuck Negroes in concentration camps, for instance, as we did Japanese in World War II. The Asians came back, and today they have established themselves as strong contributors to the health of the whole community." Now, despite the fact that Black people were actually put in concentration camps just a few decades prior to this statement, this is wrong for another important reason. The core fallacy of the model minority myth is that it's based on a historical false equivalence, which is when people try to equate two things that are seemingly similar but actually quite different. Though Black Americans and Asian Americans are both people of color and face racism in the United States, we have very different histories in this country. The vast majority of Black Americans descend from those who were kidnapped and enslaved, oppressed through Jim Crow laws, segregated through redlining, stereotyped as criminal or primitive, affected by mass incarceration, and so on and so forth. Whereas most Asian Americans, especially those in these wealthier communities who are propped up, came to the United States after the Immigration, Voting, and Civil Rights Acts of the 1960s. Perhaps even more importantly, they entered the United States at a time where Black people specifically were being entrenched as a permanent underclass that other ethnic groups could use to build an economic foundation for their communities. As one quick example, this creator recounts the stories of how Asian American business owners would only get loans from white bankers if they set up shop in poor Black communities, and this is the same time that these bankers would not give loans to Black business owners trying to create something in their own community. And before anyone tries it, that's not to make a qualitative assessment on who had it worse, but instead to highlight the very real historical reasoning behind the economic and social differences between these two demographic groups. And unless the Florida API history course touches on this and other intercommunal dynamics between communities of color, it will likely feed into whitewash narratives that warp reality and end up further cementing anti-Blackness through the American education system. But do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments and follow for more.
The videos, and I want to say shout out to everybody that I lifted their content to, and the Black young man gave a great analysis on this, and that is absolutely great. And you all can see there is a video I dropped on my backup channel where in Florida, they ban everything Black in their library. Like, there is nothing. They pushed everything away, the books, everything. And people are asking, what are the children gonna read? because I don't know what the children are gonna read. I mean, as you all can see, they are trying so hard, so much to, like, cover up everything, all the atrocities, all the evils. They don't even want people to know. They do not want their kids to know how evil they are, and they also do not want Black people. They call it the coming generations to know the real history, because they said Black history is violent, and that I looked at them and I was like, you can't be saying the truth, because you all are liars, big time. And I think there is something that I saw online yesterday, and how can somebody be so evil? Run the shit is so evil, and he is just only 44 years, and this evil. I don't know what's gonna happen when he gets to 60 years. I mean, you already got to look out for that kind of human being. Stay good to this. Thank you so much for all the support. I really do appreciate you all. And this is where I'm gonna draw the cut and see you all in my next video. Bye for now.